Welcome to our webinar, live from Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. Warm greetings to all of our participants joining us from around the world. My name is Martin Huber, CEO of Metaroom by MREX, and I'm delighted to have you with us today. Let's take a look at our agenda. We are excited to share new insights on brownfield digitization, digital twins, and our vision for the future of smarter, data-driven decision-making in building operations. We will start today with digging into Siemens Building X and Lifecycle Twins, followed by Metaroom, an easy-to-use but powerful tool to digitize brownfield buildings. Lucas will share his experience with all of this, and last but not least, we will open a Q&A session for all participants. It's now my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished co-hosts. They are true leaders in the industry, and I'm honored to hand over to Susmita, Max, and Lucas for their introductions.
Good day, everyone. Max Kauper from the German portfolio management team from Siemens Smart Infrastructure. And I'm super delighted and expressed to give you a quick glimpse in what we are doing in regards to our software portfolio, which is called Building X. So I have a background in software engineering, software portfolio product management, and software and consulting. So therefore, I would hand over to Smita.
Thank you, Max, and thank you also, Martin, for the nice introduction. I'm Sushmita. I'm the product manager for Building X Lifecycle Twin, which is a digital twin software within the Building X platform of applications. I'm delighted to be here to present also the value that digital twins add today in the operations and maintenance phase of buildings. Looking forward to conversations with you. I give it over to Lucas now to introduce himself.
Everyone out there, my name is Lucas. I'm a R&D project manager with Siemens, and I'm leading a co-creation project about the lifecycle twin with one of our lead customers. So I can give you later on an insight on a real project with the lifecycle twin.
Great. Now, Max, it's your stage. You can start sharing and tell us a little bit more about Building X.
I will do so, Martin. So first of all, for the people who never worked together with Siemens, a company which has more than 300,000 employees, I want to give you that quick overview. So you are talking today to people who are working in the building sector, which is highlighted in yellow here, which is called smart infrastructure, which has a long history in technology or technical equipment for buildings, and is here very successful across the globe. And meanwhile, we have also a software portfolio, which is complementary to our hardware portfolio. And this is what we are focusing on today. And beside that, we have also other line of businesses like digital industries, which is focusing on digitalization of the manufacturing area across the globe. We have the mobility section, which provides sustainable and safe smart mobile systems, and or the Healthineers branch line of business, which is a leading provider in medical technology. And then we have a consulting line of business, which is called Siemens Advanta in other services. Last but not least, I want to express also our building unit, because we have also many, many, many buildings across the globe that we are managing, which is the Siemens Real Estate Organization. And with that, let me jump into our software answer on our successful hardware world. The so-called Building X platform, which is a cloud platform, SaaS IoT platform based and running on a hyperscaler, which serves with several applications, or what we call also apps, which connects also the digital with the real world. So IoT data, master data in one place and available 24/7. This is kind of an architecture we see here. And a quick glimpse on the top also in use cases we are serving with the apps we are delivering. and like sustainable use cases, like ESG related use cases to run a building, or focusing on maintenance and operation use cases within the buildings to provide also more productivity, but to have also a more health and well-being, room temperature, for example, then also to serve more a safe and secure building. And on the left side, you see two applications that we are in the focus, especially the Building X Lifecycle Twin, for today's webinar. And then another application, which is also complementary and running on our platform, which is called Building X 360 Viewer. And then in the middle, you see that we are a quite open platform, which changed also during the course over the time of Siemens. So our applications are not talking just to each other. They are also talking to other applications as long as they are really complementary. So meaning we have an open API infrastructure layer and can connect also other applications. With that, we have an open ecosystem. And then on the bottom, you see the so-called device layer, because I said at the beginning that we have here or serve an IoT layer, and therefore we need also real-time insights from the existing and installed hardware out there. With that, and this is also the beauty we are doing here with Metaroom and Amrex, I want to also introduce to everyone here in the call our partners we have, and this is just a quick glimpse into that. So we have more, and Amrex and Metaroom is another one we are interacting with to bring the successful hardware layer together with our application layer and software answer. And with that, I hand over to our product head from the Building X Lifecycle Twin.
Sharing my screen now, Max. Please let me know if you see. All right, so why Lifecycle Twin? And Max spoke a lot about what we do at Siemens and also about the different business units. And now coming to the building itself, right? What connects the different entities? He spoke also about hardware, spoke about different entities like the SRE, but all of these units to function, they need information or data about the building. So Building X Lifecycle Twin is all about common data environment, which takes us from data silos, where data silos create a lot of inefficiency, high maintenance costs, limited insights and data access, compliance and security risks, towards a unified cloud platform, which has cross-functional use cases across Building X, holistic and centralized insights, and is scalable and flexible to additional offerings that we can provide on top. So the main strengths in terms of Lifecycle Twin is basically that we optimize and monitor buildings real time, and we work from planning to the operations phase of the building. So this has become really a reality with Building X Lifecycle Twin, that we utilize information from the initial design, the planning phases, straight up to the operations phase, straight up to when the building is maintained, renovated, and demolished. And with this, we provide basically a centralized repository of information for improved efficiency. We have increased reliability of the entire building operations. We have optimized maintenance, improved user satisfaction, and of course, most importantly, increased safety, and we reduce the risk of accidents. So coming to a little bit now, the value proposition, or what exactly the digital twin provides to our customers. We basically provide an end-to-end asset intelligence, right? Because we talk about unifying data across the entire life cycle. We take the information from the design, we collate it in one platform, we gain a holistic view of the building assets with a seamless integration of 3D information, BIM, dynamic metadata, the relationship mapping, asset information, and IoT information together in one place. And thus we extend and drive the uptime and extended asset lifetime. Then we have spatially driven insight and control. So we can visualize and act through intuitive 2D, 3D, We enable location tracking of systems and asset. We mark up BIM spaces. We also provide rapid triage of different work orders or issues, and we accelerate decision making when it comes to different interventions of the site. Of course, you can also use this, for example, to train maintenance engineers in order to perform operations and maintenance without going on site, remote, using your digital twin software. Then we have the life cycle issue and the work order management system, which is basically transforming how your teams are actually performing commissioning jobs, service requests, site issues, and with the help of 3D, 2D visualization, using complete operational transparency across your building. And we also have a centralized smart governance of the documents. So basically, we have a 19650 certified document management system with very robust role-based access, automated workflows, dynamic filtering, version control, providing reliable storage for your entire documents that are generated throughout your life cycle, like warranty documents, specification documents, audit logs, instruction manuals, and so on and so forth. And we have a data-driven quality assurance in order to provide better operational outcomes and do a gap analysis between data is the quality of data that is available within your digital twin and ensure the data is complete. Let's see a quick use case. This is only one of the use cases that we provide, but this will give you an idea of the end-to-end workflow of a digital twin. So let's take a preventive maintenance use case where this is a calendar, and now I see that we have a maintenance due in November. The typical problem for such maintenance activities is, first of all, you need to go on site, and sometimes there is a lot of back and forth involved in terms of if your information availability is low and you don't have the entire information of the site available at your fingertips. So I'm a maintenance engineer. I check that, okay, there is an annual maintenance activity scheduled. I look at the annual maintenance activity. It's scheduled for the end of November. So then I go now into my digital twin. This is the building. I go into a specific location. Say I want to see the AHU in this case for the annual maintenance. I see the digital twin of the AHU. I see the supply, return, temperature, humidity, air quality. So all the different IoT device information that is connected is visualized. I see all the different faults that are registered. These faults are triggered by different rules configured on the system. So I see, yeah, the outside air temperature has a problem between the building outside air temperature and the one monitored by the HU. I check the description, I check the possible causes, I check when this was last detected. I could go through each of the faults and check the problems. I could also compare now my actual real-time data to the operational parameters that are specified by the equipment manufacturer. All the different specification documents, instruction manuals, I can review this information. I can collect all data about the maintenance job that I'm about to perform. Here, I also see the schematics. I can pull up the schematics. I can look up also the warranty guarantee information in case needed. Now I look at the preventive maintenance work order itself. So here is a service request. I look what are the details of this service request. So I pull up the work order quickly in this context. I first now mention that, yeah, now I've opened it. I've started processing this already. This is all, by the way, sitting in front of your computer terminal, and you don't need to go on site. So I start looking at, I've looked at the faults. Now I also make a mental note, and I put across a note to the engineer or the service engineer what he needs to do on site. So I give different instructions based on what needs to be checked. I make notes here, and I can also specify different observations that I may have as an expert from a complete offline facility. So now I have added this node. I can add, of course, multiple such nodes. And now I finish looking at this particular AHU. The beauty of the digital twin is now you can also start looking at other equipment which is around, which may also impact the whole equipment functioning. So I walk around, I look at other critical equipments from my plant, and for example, I look at another AHU which is located just behind this AHU. I also pull up information related to that AHU, look at the faults related to that AHU, and also check the different operating parameters, check also the different work orders that are there on this particular AHU. And it looks like, yes, there is also something open and needs to be serviced immediately when it comes to this particular AHU because there is a problem with the discharge air temperature. So I create a work order. I can also assign a work order from my digital twin so that this gets addressed. So all of this possible just by remote diagnostics, remote maintenance, looking at faults, looking at historical information is also possible in the digital twin. Now I go on site. Actually, when I've done all the offline investigation, this is my iPad, I go and scan the barcode of the equipment. Now I'm actually on the site with just one click scan of the barcode, I get exactly the work order, the maintenance activity that I'm supposed to perform. I open it up. I also then open up the different notes that have been already mentioned by the person who has done the online investigation. I look at the information, the different steps that need to be done, refer to each of the steps, perform the activity, and update the status of my activity using the iPad. This information is immediately reaching the facility manager and the person who is on site. I can perform different maintenance activities for the different equipment, immediately updating the status. So this is the power actually of the digital twin where I have performed complete remote diagnostics maintenance before I went on site, reducing significantly the time required on site and increasing the reliability because I've utilized all the different information that is stored in the digital twin software and prepared myself well for the maintenance activity. So this is about lifecycle twin. This is about the power of digital twins that we can leverage in operations and maintenance with data. Let me hand over to Martin, who will now talk about brownfield digitalization with Metaroom.
Yeah, thank you so much, Max, for setting the stage and giving us a first introduction to Lifecycle Twin and Building X, and also, of course, to you, Susmita, for showing us these great workflows that are now possible having such a digital twin. So what I want to cover here in the middle part is that we have seen now buildings that are already inside such a system. And today we face the situation that the majority of the buildings are in brownfield, and actually we don't have any data about them and no 3D data, no data about assets. And this is where we come in. So we are a spatial technology company based here in Salzburg, Austria. Today it looks exactly like on the picture. I'm sitting here in this building in the background. Our flagship product, Metaroom, has over 100,000 downloads and over 20,000 active users. And it's my pleasure now to show you a little bit more about Metaroom in the next couple of slides. So first of all, Metaroom consists of two components, so to say. You can see them on the right side. One component is an easy-to-use scan application based on consumer hardware. So on a smartphone, you can go around a building and digitize the building when there is no data available. And then you have a web app that we call Workspace. It's running in a browser. And after scanning, you can access the scan using the browser. You can take a look, do measurements, and add assets like a pump, as Susmita just showed us. and then export it to 30 different export formats. But the two most important one we want to cover today is we can export to Siemens Building X Lifecycle Twin and also to Siemens Building X Data Setup. So why are we here? I already mentioned it a little bit in the beginning, the digitization of brownfield spaces and in mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. The pressure we have here is that we must deliver more in less time. A lot of projects already demand a digital documentation, and existing industry solutions like big laser scanners, they are very bulky to use, very expensive, and you need to be a very well-trained expert to use them. That's exactly where we come in with this accessible and easy technology. Everything we build today is based on iPhone Pro hardware that leverages the so-called LiDAR sensor. So Metaroom is compatible to iPhone Pro 12 upwards and iPads Pro from building year 2020 upwards. We recommend an iPhone 15 Pro as this is one of the latest sensors. It gives you the best results. And that said, we want to jump into a use case that we did here, not so far from the company. It's a private medical university. There was no 3D plans available. And we take a look on how this worked out. So this is a screen recording of the app capturing space. And actually this app is available for public use in the App Store. You can see when we start moving the phone, then it recognizes assets and also room geometry represented by these white lines and the small puppet model we can see in the lower end of the screen. We can recognize assets automatically and also their size. And everything we can see here is just for user guidance. So there is still a lot more data in the background that we capture, but these white lines should just help us to understand what has been already captured and maybe what is missing. So after this first room, we can see there is a kind of a preview, including doors, windows, walls, and furniture. But in the use cases we are hovering around here, one room is not enough. So we go to a second room and a third room, and we add the corridor. And step by step, we are building up a 3D model, scan section by scan section. So this is now a second room we are scanning. You can already see on the right side, there is a color palette. And this color palette helps us assigning colors to specific assets that maybe are important for later processing and exporting to the Siemens ecosystem. For example, we could give pumps the blue color. We could give luminaires the yellow color, and maybe a thermostat receives the orange color. And this will help afterwards in post-processing a lot to identify and create these assets. You can now see how we do this. So there is this so-called snapshot feature. It's on the lower right bottom of the screen. And we just snapshot the assets we want to have later in the Siemens ecosystem. And now we go from room to room and we just repeat the process like it is here. Typically, per room, you can think about 1 to 2, maybe 3 minutes of scanning, depending on how many assets you want to add. The whole solution is extremely accessible and easy to use. So you are an expert user in around 1 hour. And we have a lot of onboarding content to help you to get used to the solution. So after the scan, we will upload this thing, and we can access it in the so-called Metaroom Workspace web app. So first part is the scan, and then we upload it to our web portal. And this takes round about a minute. Then we can access the scan in the web app, and ultimately we can export it. And what we will do today is that we will open the model in our web platform. We will add Siemens and building relevant assets and export them into the Siemens Building X ecosystem. So let's jump into this. Here we can see the final result of the scan, It's represented in our web application. It's a building information model style tree we can see on the left side. We have a building, we have a floor, we have different rooms. A room can also contain different objects like an opening and a door. So this is full open BIM compatible. We can also show the scan path. The scan path is basically the way the phone took during the scan and an automatic documentation. Now let's zoom in a little bit closer. And now here comes the beauty of this technology. This is not just a mesh or point cloud, but this is already a parametric model that we can apply measurements to. We can calculate square meters. We get all of the measurements of walls and windows. And we can also add separate measurements. Like here we want to measure a specific area in the corridor, and we can just add this measurement here. And the result is there in real time. Now, what about the assets? As we can see here, this is more geometry. So we can click on the snapshots we've done before, and then the 2D picture is opening on the right side. And with one click, we can here, for example, add a fan or an air ventilation. And we have here the Siemens palette integrated, which fully matches the Building X palette. So we add the fan to the corridor, and we save this element to our scene. And this is again a full IFC compatible parametric model, and is seamlessly integrated to our solution here. We click on another wall, and we can see how generic the solution works. So we can just click on an exhaust system here, and it will be created in real time. We click on a luminaire, it's created in a real time. And then we click here on the thermostat. That's the final asset we want to create here. And we assign it thermostat Building X type. We give it a nice looking color and save it to the scene. So this is how we can go from corridor to room and add the assets that are important for my digital twin. And now we click on export, and we can already see Siemens Building X is pre-selected. If there is a building already with this ID, we could enter it here, but actually that's a new building. And what happens now in the background is that we use the scene we see here, and we connect to the Siemens server, and we write it into the Siemens Building X system. So if we then, it's already done, as we can see here. If we then click on data setup, that's the second tab here in the browser that's showing the Siemens ecosystem, we can see there's a building. And this building is in Austria. We can go to hierarchy. So we transport all of the names of the building, the floors, the names of the rooms, and also metadata like the geolocation, the north heading, and all of the information that we could gather from the scan. And the most important thing, we also transport geometry, including assets. So let's take a look at the floor plan we've just seen before. Click here on open floor plan. And this is exactly matching the scene we've seen before, including the rooms. And in the center, this was the hallway that we just worked on together. And voila, we can see the two assets we have created together here. One is the fan and another one is the thermostat, spatially aligned to the model. So this helps in use cases where we have no plans available. We can now totally generate these models on the fly using a phone. Everyone can do it. It's super easy. And we are very proud to share this new interface here for the first time. That said, Lucas had a preliminary access to all of this and will show us a little bit how this works on the field.
Thanks a lot, Martin. I will show you a real example, and I will also show you how things fit together, and I can tell you it really works out. We are currently in a co-creation project with the medical university, as Martin explained before, and we were challenged with digitizing literally their university campus. And they have buildings few of them a few years old, but many of them decades old. So it's quite a big range of buildings that we have to tackle and that we have to digitize. And we started with a 3D scan. We heard how this works, post-processed it in Metaroom, and we got the 3D model and also the floor plan to our Building X platform. But that's not the whole story. And if we want to have a real digital twin, we also need real-time data. So besides the 3D and 2D models, we also integrated building automation data. There, our Connect gateway came in handy, and we seamlessly connect the real-time data out of the building into our Building X platform. This does not just work with Siemens equipment, it also works with any other equipment out on the market. But there are also many other or some other systems on the university campus that should be integrated in a digital twin. One of them is a university management system, a room management system. And for this purpose, Max already introduced it, we use the openness API, so we seamlessly connect also other systems on the cloud to our Building X environment. And finally, there is also a lot of data collected, especially for old buildings, in files, in old file systems, storages, and so on. And we structured them and put everything together in our common data environment. And now we can really start with the lifecycle twin, and we can really start to operate. And we are actually at the stage, literally now, where people can start working with the lifecycle twin, collecting additional data, and really gaining value out of it. So Smita mentioned a lot of features of the lifecycle twin, so I really want to highlight a few of them. So people are now starting creating work orders, linking data, for example, data sheet, maintenance manuals for extinguishing systems, sewage pumps, to work orders, scheduled work orders, and also document actions they have performed in the work orders. And now, if something happens, for example, there's an insurance issue, then everything is reported and information is recorded so they can have any kind of report out of that. And by the way, the billing operation is organized, structured more efficiently than it was ever before. There are a few other features that come in handy for our customer. For example, the efficient file management. So you cannot just have different versions of files. You can really easily compare different versions of file in just one platform, and this really works out. What's worth mentioning is, because not everyone is familiar of working with a 3D model, so it's also possible to work in a 2D model. You can also highlight things, show things, filter things, so it really works out. And then a special need for our customers came into play, and it was about space management. The Lifecycle Twin had some basic features on that, but thanks to the open and wide platform of Building X, we also have a special application called the occupancy application. And this application uses the very same data out of the data setup and allows for special insights, analysis of occupancy, and then further allows for optimizing the spaces. So how does it work? You see here a special architecture based on the picture Max explained before. Everything starts at the building. So we have an automation system which is connected directly via gateway to the data setup. We also have third-party wireless sensors, in our case occupancy sensors, that are connected the very same way. So that was directly possible without any further effort. But as I mentioned in the introduction, we also had to connect to a third-party room management system, which just has a cloud API, and that's it. Thanks to our openness API, in particular the operations and point value API, and our rules engine, we could create a very special solution with very low effort to really connect all this data that's in the room management system to our lifecycle twin. And so the lifecycle twin becomes a real twin of the system. But finally, what's in for the customer? So the main benefit for the customer was the space management. As many universities and many companies out there, they have problems with efficiently managing and running their spaces. So Building X and the applications on that help to really analyze what's going on there and help to optimize the spaces, and so they can use the spaces more efficiently, and they save maybe future buildings. What's in many cases underestimated is the maintenance and the operation of buildings. They, as far as I can say, did quite well, but as always, there's room for improvement. And the lifecycle twin and all the features, work order management and so on, help to really put the operation and the facility management there to a next level. They have a more structured work. They have, and this is a very important thing, they have documented everything, and so if something happens, if they need some data, if they need some analytics, they can do it, and they can really increase the efficiency of the building. And last but not least, they want to improve the comfort of the people in there, not just the employees, also the students. They have different types of spaces, so they have usual office rooms, they have smaller meeting rooms, but they also have lecture rooms, and they really want to improve the air quality and also the comfort. And with that, I want to hand back to the key takeaways and say thank you.
So yeah, thanks a lot, Lucas, for sharing all of these insights on hands-on experience with Building X, working with customers. And let me now share the key takeaways from our side here before we go into the Q&A. So brownfield digitization, and this is the topic we are hovering around today, you can reduce operational costs through real-time transparency into asset performance, efficiency, and maintenance schedules, enabling smarter, data-driven decision-making. I think that's the key here. And the news here from today that this is powered by the deep integration of Siemens Building X and the Metaroom platform. If you have any special questions afterwards, please feel free to reach out to us. On one hand, we have the whole Siemens team here to help us out with questions around lifecycle twin, Building X, and what Max, Susmita, and Lucas presented. And on our end, Luca De Biasi is in charge of helping you with this special Siemens connector here that has to be activated from our side. So you can use then the Siemens Building X exports. They are not open by default, but please reach out to Luca and he will help you setting this up. Yeah, thanks a lot again, Max, Susmita, and Lucas for sharing the insights here. So we got a couple of questions also prior to the webinar, and I want to start with these ones here. So maybe Max, this is for you. What do you believe is the biggest challenge in this whole building digitization space?
Oh, wow. The biggest challenge, so I think there are a couple of challenges, but I think when I look today to my customers, especially in Germany, as I'm responsible for Germany, I would say it's getting data available all the time in a standardized manner, getting them connected with IoT data to get real-time insights, and in brownfield scenarios to, I would say, get the right data imported that we need to bring, I would say, best information out of it. I would say this is the major challenge we are facing and where we can support. also with nice partners like Emrex.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So maybe let's focus more on the operation and maintenance. Susmita, what do you think is the biggest challenge in the brownfield projects when it comes to building X for customers in why of the operation and maintenance perspective? You already shared a little bit, but maybe you can hover around the challenges a bit more for us.
So data is generated in all forms and shapes throughout the building life cycle, right? Right from the construction, then renovation, and then to the operations and maintenance phase. Typically, when we go to the operations and maintenance phase, all the data is either lost or it is stored in various kinds of digital formats or non-digital formats, and it is very difficult to get this information out during the operations and maintenance phase, thus making the operations and maintenance phase either sluggish, slower, costing more in terms of the operations and maintenance, or maybe even sometimes you, because of the lack of transparency, you tend to not make effective decisions during the operations and maintenance phase. And that's the key. That's the key to actually bringing data together from all the different phases in one place, in one platform, so that the operations and maintenance phase is enabled to have more insights using this information, to efficiently process information, and to then make your operations and maintenance phase more effective, more quicker, and also cost effective in terms of the holistic building maintenance phase.
Yeah, and I also imagine that these processes you mentioned, they are not even only software focused, but also you have to understand the hardware of the building and all of the IoT space. So
absolutely different kind of equipment, different manufacturers, right? Different lifetimes of the equipment. There is a lot going on in the building, different connected assets which generate information, but which are also static assets, how they're connected together. There's a lot going on in the building.
Yeah. Just so you know, so we only have Siemens smoke detectors here in our building. Yeah, so no mix of hardware. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Susmita. I mean, if I'm jumping into customer shoes or shoes of someone who is interested in all of this, what we have shown, maybe Max, I can hand this over to you. What do you think? Is there a possibility to talk a little bit about effort and costs connected to moving a building into this digital ecosystem? What's your take on that?
So costs, it's a kind of a challenging question to answer for me, because typically I'm not allowed because I'm not from sales. I can give you a quick glimpse in our approach, how we serve successfully today our customers. And first of all, we have a SaaS application that we can quickly deploy. But then you have a SaaS application in your pocket or on your web application, but then you need still the data, right? In standardized available, meaning we have engineers who support and help you to get this data into Building X lifecycles and connect them with IoT data. And this then depends on the size of the project. Is it one building? Are we talking about 2,000 buildings? We have also customers here. But in general, we have also standardized delivery approaches where we support that. Yeah, I hope that helps a bit.
Yeah, thanks for sharing what you can share about it. I think it's giving a good impression. I mean, we are also connected to a couple of let's say digital twin scenarios on the field, and that's just a personal takeaway from my side. I think that Siemens is perfectly positioned here with all of the know-how in IoT and hardware, and also in the digital ecosystem, to really approach it in the right way. So I think we are in the situation to say that from our side, because we work with different partners here. So it's not only software; it's way more of regulatories, understanding of the buildings and all of these things. And we are extremely happy to be in the situation to work with you here. And I think what we presented today was really a new kind of era, that we can not only write a file to a hard disk and then import it and and work on this connection by hand, but we really can use the Metaroom and the Siemens server, and they seamlessly talk to each other, and we can move buildings from our ecosystem to yours. That's a great achievement. Also, thanks to our team here, thanks to the team on the Siemens side. There have been a lot of people involved to make that happen. That said, I think I would like to thank you all for participating, especially for your attendance here. I know Susmita, Max, and Lucas, your timetables are fully booked, so thank you for taking the time. And all the best to all around the world, to the participants, and thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Martin.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you so much,
Appreciate
everybody.
it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.